Hey Sandra, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. So, first of all, are you happy? Because Finland was ranked one on the happiness index. So,
Yeah, this
are
is
you really happy?
fifth, this fifth year in a row that Finland is becoming a happiest country in the world. Um, I mean, it's always funny to see that. I think the thing is like about that, it's like we have all the ability to be happy. It's still on us. Shall we be happy or not? So kind of it's like kind of like this big meme in Finland whenever they say, "Oh, again, we are the happiest country." It's like I don't know. I saw like three people smiling this morning.
So, how do you guys categorize happiness in Finland?
Yeah, it's been like 5 years in a row now. It's like Finland is really interesting country. Like we have everything we need to be happy, and then but there's this like coldness and then darkness and no social kind of input you usually have. So it's just like I know whenever I see the sun, I'm like, okay, my day is done already. I'm like happy, I'm done. So that's my limit, or that's how I measure my happiness these days.
So, like before we get into the main conversation, just do an introduction of yourself so we can know what we're getting to.
Yeah, my name is Sandra. I'm currently building and working on Klu.so. Klu is this cloud-based search. The idea is to find any information you need in a second, you or your team, which means that we have a workspace you can share with your teammates. So bringing information in one place, having internal search that is available for everyone. We have different tiers, so there's like a personal and we have team, but like our vision is to kind of like build this team place where they can access any information they need in second in order to do their work better and etc. What
Good,
am
very
I?
nice.
I'm trying to find the ways to grow this thing.
Yeah.
Um, trying because we are pre everything and it's always fun to be at this stage when it's small number of people and you're bringing something new to the market and trying to find ways how to tell people more about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you guys build it or start building it? I think 2022.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like for us, it was very fast mode thing. We started in December, we built MVP in like really fast time. And then in order to kind of because we worked together before, we noticed this problem that we can't find anything, and it was like so annoying. So we were like, okay, let's just build some kind of internal search thing that can help us. And then it worked perfectly. Like it was ugly, but it worked. So it kind of like we were like, okay, we can do something about this. So to validate our idea, we kind of like reached out to the companies and just asked them a bunch of questions and saw that they are interested and they bought the product. And then we were like, okay, now it's time to kind of actually do something about this. So yeah,
Yeah.
we started like, yeah.
That so is it particularly for teams or individuals?
So yeah, I mean, we are targeting teams because there's a huge problem in organizations how they are dealing with information and how they are getting these informations. So they are like they are so used to searching for informations or asking others for informations. So there is a problem, but they still don't know how to like kind of fix it. So yeah, we are focusing on teams, but what we saw in our private beta and now in public beta, there's a lot of value that Klu brings also for like your personal search. And
Yeah.
when we started Klu, we didn't kind of like focus on that. It was more about teams. But now we can see, like, yeah, there's people using Klu that are only using it for their personal internal search.
Yeah, because like reading when I was going through your website and all those things, it was pretty useful. Like it is pretty useful for individuals as well, apart from teams. That's what I noticed.
Yeah, like it is very useful. I mean, I use it, or even in my like personal case, I use it because it gives me this fast and easy ways to just quickly find something. So like you wouldn't consider what we are solving. I wouldn't consider or I wouldn't notice, like you notice these things or the problem, but we are so used to dealing with it in our ways. So like you actually spend time searching or something, or you actually ask someone where you can find this and etc. So like, yeah, like Klu is quite useful for teams, but as I said, I find it also useful for myself or my personal search. And we saw that through private and public beta that people are using it on their personal searches as well.
So is there any other company doing this thing? Is
Yeah, I mean,
something.
we are kind of entering this space where there's like companies popping up, doing something similar. So, and especially now with ChatGPT and AI, OpenAI, like there's so many possibilities of doing and moving this problem further, like solving this problem. So there are companies working on it. Like when people ask me like, how do you compare? Are you scared or etc. like that? Like, no, I'm not, because the companies that are currently on the market, we all have kind of our own niche. The idea is kind of there. We all are trying to fix this, finding information faster, but we are all doing it somehow in a different ways. So I think it's like really nice that we have competitors and that there's companies on the market that are trying to fix this solution, because it's kind of pushing us also to be better and faster in doing this.
Yeah. So how do you guys, if someone, let's take an hypothetical situation, if there was a company which was working in the same niche,
Mm.
doing the exactly same thing, how would you differentiate yourself from that company?
So yeah, there's always companies that are currently kind of in the same space as us. Um, they do focus on search, and we are also focusing on search, but we are also focusing on storing and managing data as well.
Yeah.
So search is one aspect of Klu. Getting this information is one aspect, but what do you do next with them is what we are trying to explore more as well, especially when it comes to teams. So yeah, there are competitors, but we are kind of like different in that sense that we are trying to solve this next step as well. So how can we help teams once they have these informations, and what can they do with these informations? So yeah, we are talking about the competitors. It's always for me important to kind of like think about with our vision and our mission, you know. So it's like there's always going to be competitors, and that's great,
Yeah.
but you have to always kind of like think about yourself in that sense.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, like it's interesting because like I saw that now we have people using Klu, you know, and they are using it on a daily basis. So we are fixing problem. So if we are focusing on the group of the people right now that are actively using Klu, this is my idea of like growth as well. Like
Yeah.
you cannot reach huge growth at the second, but the only thing we can do at the moment is focus on these people that are using Klu and see how we are fixing the problem and why they are using Klu and not our competitors and etc. So like you are learning in the same time. This is the whole like learning process for us as well.
Yeah. What have you learned till now? The main top three things. That's it.
Well, Um, when so when we entered the private beta, it was super simple. We already had the companies we worked with and the people we worked with, and it was very like manageable. And then it was like a safe thing. Everything was
Yeah.
safe, you know. And then we went into public beta feeling super good about ourselves, you know, like we have this. We've done our lessons with private beta, we can do this. And then we went into public beta, and then the feedback, bam, 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 is from all the places. Like the biggest lesson we learn is that sometimes you go so deep in your product that you think that you can see everything. The whole onboarding process is perfect, how the users are using the search, etc. And then you get this amount of feedback on the things that you had never noticed before, which was like
Yeah.
mind-blowing, like how we didn't notice this before, like what is happening here. So that is one of the biggest lessons. Like sometimes you go in too deep into your product that you kind of like lose yourself into it. So if you
That
understand what I'm saying, like I'm such a complicated person to explain something. But yeah,
that's that's an important thing actually.
yeah, like the
Taking user
feedback was
feedback.
the biggest lesson. Like how do you, yeah.
When did you guys launch your public beta? Actually?
We did it, I think it was like middle of February.
So now you are going towards the product hunt launch. What have you guys like planned to
Is
make
what
the launch successful? What have you guys
what
planned to?
So right now, we are trying to engage as much as we can with active users on Twitter, Product
Yeah.
Hunt. That's the first thing. The second thing, we are trying to also connect with the people that are launching somewhere at the same time as us. So to kind of like support each others in that sense.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of like a very bad mean thing, but it's quite true because it's super super funny to see how easily people support each other, which is like great thing.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, reaching a bunch of people, posting about Klu as much as we can, writing about it, and etc.
So you Clue raised its pre-seed investment from Antler.
Yeah,
I read that on your blog.
yeah,
So
yeah,
how did that go about? Because raising pre-seed funds uh, today, like in this weird market, it's very tough. How did that
yeah.
go?
Yeah, it's really hard at the moment. But we raised our pre-seed in January, early January. So I don't know if we were lucky,
Yeah.
to kind of like, because now the situation is totally different and it's only like 2, 3 months ago.
So did
So
you guys reach out to investors, or was it the opposite?
yeah, we joined Antler, and then we joined Antler, and then we built the MVP, and then we were just like, okay, we sold this to these companies. They already knew about us. We pitched to them, and they were like, okay, yeah, it's good. So it was like, I mean, for Klu, everything happened really fast.
Yeah.
And it's all the time we are like doing these things. And if you would put them on the paper, if you put all the things that we have achieved since starting this, it's like really fast, really big things, but I still feel like we need more, if you
Yeah.
understand me. Like you still feel like you need to push more and do more, and so yeah.
So you the funds you raised, you poured all of it in um, developing of the MVP,
Yeah, I
and
mean, yeah, I mean, we raised money to kind of like develop our MVP more, to test it as well. Like we are still in the process of testing. We are still processing like collecting the feedback, validating, finding the market as well. Like there's a bunch of things that we have to do. So yeah.
So, what do you guys use or marketing? What channels? Social media, SEO, all those things. What do you guys use?
Yeah, for SEO, like it was very hard to kind of focus on SEO at the moment because we want to see the things quite fast, and SEO takes more time. Also, it was very risky for us to put or invest time at the moment for something that people don't usually search for. You know,
Yeah,
this is not something yeah. So we are focusing more on Twitter, on LinkedIn, Medium, and like classic Reddit. So this is our like outreach there
yeah,
at the moment. Yeah.
yeah. That's because people don't really go out and search how to find the right information instantly.
Yeah. I mean, we were exploring that idea, but like we saw that it wouldn't work for us at the moment. And to build a right SEO strategy, it takes time, and to see the results, it's also taking time. And like being a pre-everything startup, you don't have time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, what what does growth mean to you? Like you do marketing growth for Klu. So, what does
Yeah.
growth mean to you? And
So this is a very interesting question because I don't think many people are talking about the growth in really early stage startups.
yeah,
And also it's quite hard to define what is growth for company. But
yeah,
for us at the moment, or for me, is growth means the users that are actively or daily active on your platform.
yeah,
And for us, is that these users are giving us feedback. So we are moving in right direction. And yeah, of course, you have numbers you want to reach, but
yeah,
the main idea is that we have users that are using every single day Klu and are giving us the feedback. Now, the idea of growth is that we are able to have this first 100 or 200 users that like this is the growth for me,
yeah,
knowing that these first users are actively on the platform.
yeah.
So yeah,
So you
for
want to
this is
basically, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, this is like, of course, growth is has a different definition for bigger startups, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But for our stage, this is what growth means for me, if
yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
So like you mentioned that Klu is growing or move, you guys move at a very fast pace. So what do you think? How should startups, because pre-seed startups especially, they have to move
Mm,
really fast and iterate and do a lot of things. And
mm.
so how do these startups adapt to these fast changes, according to you?
I mean, I think it's always important when once you start building something, you have to know that this is something worth of building.
Yeah,
And before you even start on building, it would be a good idea to kind of find your people or the people you are building something for. Also, it's a good idea to find ways how to reach these people, you
yeah,
know, because people usually talk about the target group and markets and etc. But like, who are these first 10 people and how
yeah,
do you reach them? You know, you don't have to have a product these days.
yeah,
Um, so That's the first thing. Then the second thing, once you figure it out, how you reach these 10 people or where are your people, like you start talking with them, you start engaging with them, you try to understand their problem. And then for the most important thing is like you have to ask these questions where you're not selling your product,
Yeah.
but you are trying to understand if they understand the problem you're trying to solve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once you kind of like figure out these things, it's much easier to build on top of that.
Yeah.
And then the growth will easily happen. But I'm talking about days. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about months. This is like few days. You give yourself a week to figure it out, these things, because it has to be really fast. You have to do all of these things really fast because technology is like giving us ability to build anything over the night, like there's
Yeah.
no time to lose and to just be like, if you truly want this, then it's like, yeah.
Yeah. That's, so you have to focus on a problem which people can relate with.
Yeah, I mean, the idea comes to you of building something, but you have to always think about to who you are building this thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I love the product. I'm using Klu. It's great
Yeah.
for me, but like that, would anyone else use it? Like, do we
Yeah.
spend next 6 months on building something and putting our time and effort on something that we're gonna end up only using it because we truly love it? Like, is there anyone else out there who is loving it maybe more than us? So yeah,
So
you
yeah, go
always
ahead.
have
Go
to
ahead.
check. Yeah, you always have to check like to who you are building this thing, because
Yeah.
finding first 10 people is the hardest thing.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
And retaining most of the people from these 10 people is even harder.
Yeah, like exactly. And I don't see many people actually talking about that. It's always when we talk about growth, it's totally different idea of what you kind of like, what is the reality in the first few days, months, and like what you see, so it's a kind of, yeah, I think there needs to be more talk about like how do you actually approach in the first stage of your product. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a pretty interesting question, but let's say there's a big company which reaches out to you guys and say they want to acquire you. So
Mm.
selling Klu to them, will that mean growth to you? Is that growth?
No, happened to one company that is in our area,
Yeah.
and they got acquired by very big company. And what we saw is that not many things happened to the platform itself,
Yeah.
to the growth of that company.
Yeah.
So what was the problem? Maybe the problem was they got acquired too early, you know. So like it all depends, I guess, from the situation. But what we saw is that
Yeah.
they didn't what would you expect didn't happen. Let's say it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The growth you would expect didn't happen.
Yeah. That's the real reason actually. Uh, so like before we end this, what message or what advice would you like to give to young builders and young founders?
Yes, just do it. Just let's build great things. Like don't think about it. Don't just we have all the ability now to learn really fast. It's really simple. Just do it. Don't spend time or waste time on thinking about doing something. Try it out. See, you know. That's my
Yeah.
advice. Like great things really happen. People, you will find people that will support your work, and you will find people that like will bash on your work, but it doesn't matter. You are
Yeah.
doing something. So
Yeah. For sure.
that's my advice.
So keep experimenting is the basic.
Keep experimenting. Yeah, keep
Yeah.
learning. Keep up with that. Whatever is happening out there. Um, I think we are in really interesting time. So yeah.
That's great advice. So I
Yeah.
guess that's it from my side. Anything you'd like to say?
No, but thank you for having me. This is super nice, and it's super nice to see also that you're doing these things. And I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to see different founders and people joining this podcast.
yeah. That's that's kind of the plan.
Great, 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 great. Super happy for you.